Hello, everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode from the
Geek
Buddies.
Hey! Okay, another week. We got another week of geeky goodness, and we're going to talk about it here today. We got new posters, we got breaking news, we got trailers, and we got a funny little tweet and meme to talk about, plus first reactions to both No Time to Die from James Bond and Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We're going to get into all of that, but first let's introduce ourselves. My name is John Rocha. I'm the Outlaw here on the Outlaw Nation show and on the Geek Buddies. Michael?
I am Michael Vogel. I am a writer and producer of animated TV shows and movies here on the Geek Buddies and everywhere else that I go.
Yeah, and currently has Strawberry Shortcake on YouTube for you all to watch right now. Don't forget. Shannon?
Yeah, and this is Shannon McClung. I'm an animation writer and a television actor where you may have seen me on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Silicon Valley, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And at some point, we'll get to see my words on Strawberry Shortcake, courtesy of Michael Vogel on YouTube.
I like that idea. We're going to get into all of that. All right. Well, for those of you who are returning, who are Geek Buddies fans, thank you very much for watching and listening to us and staying with us. And yes, we say listening to us because we have a podcast feed for the Geek Buddies. If you haven't downloaded or subscribed to the podcast feed, please make sure you do so. The Geek Buddies, wherever you download podcasts, go subscribe. You don't even have to download the episode or let the download the episode. You can delete the episodes after you download them. We just want you to subscribe. That gives us, numbers and everything like that. I mean, you can keep the episodes. I'm saying you can. I'm just saying subscribe as well, so we have the numbers. That's really important as well. And also, for those of you who are new, thank you very much for taking the chance on us here on the Geek Buddies. The way the show works is each of us presents a geek news item. We talk about it amongst ourselves, and we take a little bit of a mini break, and then we jump into our main topic. And our main topic is based on a tweet that was posted that Michael Vogel found. The Avengers versus the X-Men. Who would whip whose butts? So we're going to get into all of that a little bit later on in the show. Where shall we start? Mikey, I think you start us off here.
I'm going to start with a Disney bundle. You can subscribe right now and order a Disney bundle, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, but I have a Disney news bundle. A couple news stories. One just broke as we are recording this. If anybody has been following this in the geek world, and a lot of you do follow the geek news, Scarlett Johansson and Disney got in a little bit of a fight about monies and Black Widow. When Black Widow was released both on Disney Plus streaming and in theaters, had a precipitous drop after its first week in the box office. Scarlett Johansson got really mad at Disney and said some really mean things to them, and then Disney came back and said some really mean things to her, and it was a big knockdown, drag-out public fight that was very, very messy. But as we are recording this, it has been announced on Deadline that everyone has kissed and made up, and Scarlett Johansson and Disney are friends again. And in typical Hollywood fashion, their statements are super nice and devoid of any actual information. So Scarlett Johansson has said that she's happy to have resolved her differences with Disney. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've done together over the years and have greatly enjoyed my creative relationship with the team. I look forward to continuing our collaboration in years to come. And then Alan Bergman, chairman of Disney Studios Content, said, I'm very pleased that we have been able to come to a mutual agreement with Scarlett Johansson regarding Black Widow. We appreciate her contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and look forward to working together on a number of upcoming projects, including Disney's Tower of Terror. I love these statements. I know a lot of people get mad when they read these statements and they're like, oh, nobody said anything. This is like when you were a kid and you got in a fight with someone in class and then your teacher made you apologize and you had to be like, I'm really sorry, I respect you. And the other person's like, I respect you too, I really apologize, I'm glad we're friends. And like both sides clearly don't really mean it. I love it. It makes me happy. It cracks me up. Clearly what's happening here is Scarlett Johansson is like, thank you for giving me less money than I asked for, but more money than you were planning to. And Disney was like, I guess we're going to give you more money than we wanted to, but less than you asked for. And everybody goes back to their corners and we all move on. So not really huge news, but worthy of talking about because Hollywood press release statements are delightfully vague. And as far as news that is not really news, but is still awesome because we're really excited about it, the other piece in our Disney bundle this week is that Book of Boba, the spinoff from Mandalorian that focuses on everybody's favorite bounty hunter, will be premiering on December 29th, 2021, right on your TV screens, just in time to count for something that's coming out this year and not next year. There's the poster. If you are watching this, if you're listening to it, go Google the poster. It really is cool. It's Boba Fett sitting in his chair in Jabba's palace. Not any other information beyond that. We know all that we know from just the post-credit tag at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian and some of the stuff we've heard, but I'm really excited. I'm glad that as we are wrapping up What If, and we'll have just wrapped up Hawkeye or be on the tail end of Hawkeye, we get to dive into the Book of Boba. So what do you guys think?
The finale of Hawkeye and the premiere of Boba, that's the same day. I mean,
Wow.
that's
Okay.
yeah. So that's
Wow.
I feel like that's two huge Disney Plus projects that are like we've had Disney Plus episodes release on the same day before, but I don't think two of this kind of stature. To that poster, there's been a thing for many years now that there's a kind of a cut and paste thing where you got like, we got a face, we got a face, we got a face, we got a face, we got some action. The cool thing that Disney Plus has done with Hawkeye and with Book of Boba Fett, it's not that. It's just something a little different. I mean, with Boba Fett, you have this kind of dark, moody photo or dark, moody picture of him sitting on this throne, essentially. And with Hawkeye, you got Clint and Kate Bishop kind of walking with this, the posters just look really cool, and I like that there's something different. Disney Plus has been doing a good job with a lot of their posters. I thought all of the stuff leading up for WandaVision was great. I mean, they eventually got to their cut and paste moment where we all saw that picture of Mephisto in the wallpaper. But thus far, Disney Plus is killing it in the poster game.
Yeah, I love the poster. I think it's badass. He's so like, what are you looking at, man? It's such a strong pose. We're just doing There Will Be Blood on the Cinephiles, and we just finished the first section of the conversation. And there's that shot of Daniel Plainview when he's talking to all the townsfolk there, and he's sitting back all the way back on the chair, legs spread wide open, as if like, you guys are not going to attack me in any way, shape, or form. You're not at my level, and you can tell that is such a strong, relaxed pose, and that's what Boba's doing. Boba's even almost leaning a little bit, like it's no big deal. He's so powerful. So an interesting moment, or interesting shot of him for sure, and it gets you excited to see what we're going to get from him. But not much given away in the poster, other than this is a badass, relaxed bounty hunter that's going to kick some ass through a whole series. So excited about that. The Scarlett Johansson thing is very, very curious. I agree with you, Michael. These are the statements that are the right, correct, being the bigger person in the room type of statements that you're supposed to deliver. But I also think there's a bit of like Scarlett's statement also carries a bit of like, yes, I've enjoyed our work in the past and I'm very happy to be. It's a very strong, smiling, don't fuck with me ever again statement, which I appreciate. And I think a lot of other actors and a lot of other people who are watching this closely, who are involved in this transition into streaming, were well aware of this. And the fact that Disney settled this pretty fast shows you that Scarlett's tactics and her team's tactics really worked. This wasn't prolonged and dragged out. There wasn't constant mudslinging in the press after the first week. It was clearly both sides were very upset about the situation, took their shots in that first week, and then everybody got into a room and hashed this thing out. And now everybody's happy. And certainly I think we're not done with Scarlett Johansson being a part of Disney, and they'd be fools to get out of the Scarlett Johansson business. So all around, this is, sometimes power respects other power, and you have to drag it to its knees a little bit to get it to respect you. You're not trying to be above it. You just try to be respected by it. And I feel like Scarlett made all the right moves here. And this kind of gives a blueprint for other actors of her stature that if they feel they're getting screwed over in streaming services, to step forward and take this to the press.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think also it does show that however Disney was trying to justify what they were doing, clearly when they really like buckled down and looked at it all, they were like, it's going to be worse if we fight this.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse for every actor coming in after that. Like there was definitely a level of let's just deal with this and figure out what our new normal is moving forward. If we are going to keep doing this Premier Access streaming thing, which I don't know that they will. I think that after looking at Shang-Chi's performance, they're probably going to go back to doing what they're doing with Shang-Chi for the most part, which is the have it be in theaters, let it be in theaters by itself for 45 days, and then go to Disney Plus. So I think it's probably going to be an issue that they won't have to deal with anymore, knock on wood, as long as, you know, we continue to move forward pandemic-wise. But yeah, all really interesting as we continue to see how the window is closing, how streaming is changing things, movies on streaming versus movies in theaters. Like, these are things that are going to come up where both sides are going to try and like make their money grab, and you're going to have to see where it lands. And it looks like this is where it landed.
And this also in combination with that story about Jason Kilar, I hope I'm saying his last name right, over at Warner Media, the CEO, saying, like, in a very honest interview, that he's disappointed that he's going to probably be losing his job, and that he rushed to the day and date decision that caused a lot of problems with these films like Wonder Woman 1984 and what have you, and Dune and all these other films. So clearly there were some steps taken that were bold steps, but are now kind of blowing up in these studios' faces. So they have to kind of readjust, backtrack, take a step, take a look at this situation and adapt to it. And so we're seeing the fall, or the consequences, or the fallout rather, of these decisions that were made by these studios as they transitioned in panic mode during COVID to make money. Anything more to say on that, or should we move on?
Let's move it on up.
All right, Shannon, take it away.
Trailers. We only got 2 this week, but they're for 2 projects that are going to be coming out in November. Hot on the heels of Disney, we'll stick with Disney still. The second trailer for Encanto, which is coming from Lin-Manuel Miranda. The other writers are Charisse Castro-Smith and Jared Bush. Charisse Castro-Smith, really interesting filmography. You know, she's worked on a lot of horror. She worked on The Haunting of Hill House. She worked on the Fox version of The Exorcist. But we get the second look at this trailer. We get a little bit more story from the magical family called the Madrigals, who are in the mountains of Colombia. Really impressive cast for this one. We've got Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, John Leguizamo, Wilmer Valderrama, Diane Guerrero, for anyone that watches Doom Patrol. She plays Crazy Jane. Really, really fun trailer. I mean, this story about this kind of magical family, and the one family member who does not have a magical gift, played by Stephanie Beatriz. But that I thought the trailer was fantastic, but I'll turn it over to you gentlemen first. What did we think of our second look at Encanto?
Oh God. I mean, if I can speak as as South American heritage, this was fantastic and moving and powerful. And I'm kicking myself in the ass that I haven't done a trailer reaction for this yet, but I will be doing a trailer reaction for it for sure. But like, this is just beautiful. And the fact that this, I mean, by the, I don't know, about a minute and 20 seconds into the trailer, my head was like, it's so great to see that. And I want to say this correctly, because I've enjoyed a lot of movies here that are American and English and white based, that magic doesn't only exist in the world of white people, in the world of America. Like, magic exists all over the world. And to see it now being highlighted in this specifically, very concretely Latino/Hispanic story is very moving for me. And I love it. And they're keeping the traditional garb. No one's dressed up in anything else. They're doing everything that they can do in the traditional garb. And I'll tell you this, there's a female pro wrestling circuit that's been around for numerous decades in South America, and the ladies wrestle in the traditional garb, the dress, the blouse, the whole nine. They wrestle, and the shoes. They wrestle in those things in the ring. So that shows you this is a very multi-purpose outfit that you can use for a number of things. And I love that we're seeing that. I love the animation. Love that the mythical creatures come into this. Love that we're getting like the movement of floors. These huge things that they got to climb up. Very, very interesting, and a story that'll be universal, because no matter what power you have, you sometimes will always feel like the black sheep for whatever reason, or you feel like the odd one out. Everyone has had that experience in their own family or outside their own family. So it's a very relatable character. And yes, it's always great to see Stephanie Beatriz now starting to get just a bit more work, seeing her in The Heights, now seeing her in this. She's a fantastic actress. She's been great on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So this is another kind of credit to add to her resume that I think will speak volumes about how talented this actress, this Latina actress, actually is. So yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would have been stoked for this movie no matter what, because every time a new Disney or Pixar movie comes out, I'm excited. But this one looks particularly fantastic. It looks so original. It looks so different. It looks like a Disney fairy tale that's not a fairy tale. You know what I mean? It's not strictly speaking. I think in that, to your point, John, it's because it comes from a different cultural background. It has its own feel, it has its own vibe, but it still has those universal sort of Disney messages. And this idea, I mean, I'm curious to find out why, but this idea that Casa Madrigal is kind of losing its magic and falling apart, and that for some reason Mirabelle is the only one who can save it, the one person who doesn't have magic. I mean, like that, like just hearing that as a setup for a story, I'm like, I'm super in. The comedy looks great. I really appreciate the fact, you're bringing up In the Heights and a lot of discussion around light skin versus dark skin Latino culture. I was really excited to see that like several of the characters in this movie were darker skinned as well. So I think that was really, really cool. And obviously like Lin-Manuel Miranda music, like I'm here for it. And one of the things that was really interesting is Lin-Manuel Miranda was saying in an interview that, obviously he did this music for Moana, which we all love and stand for. But he said that with Moana, the story was mostly figured out. Like he was one of the last people. He was brought on later, since these movies take like 4 years to get made. That when he came on for Moana, like the movie was already in motion. They'd figured a lot of stuff out, and he came in and definitely gave Moana her voice and really added so much to that movie. But he wasn't there on the ground floor, whereas with Encanto he really was there on the ground floor at the beginning of this movie. And I think when you watch the trailer and you see the way the house is like moving to the music, and music just seems to like bring the entire story to life, I'm super curious and excited to hear the songs. Like my whole thing with Disney movies is I will always be excited when a Disney animated feature comes out. But when I know that it's not a musical, it has like it has to be even better for me to like it. Like Wreck-It Ralph, I was like, all right, so bad guy wants to be a good guy in a video game world, like cool, but I wish there were songs. And then I saw it and I was like, all right, you're fine without the songs. But when a Disney movie's got music, I am extra excited.
Yeah, I thought this trailer was absolutely beautiful. I mean, the magical family in the magical house. I mean, everything about it just seems like this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful family film in time for the holidays, because it is coming out for a 30-day exclusive window, November 24th, which I'm assuming, I don't know if it's going straight to Disney Plus after that, or if it'll just be available on premium streamers. But for the first 30 days, you will only be able to see Encanto in the theaters.
It sounds like they're going to pull the Soul, but with a theatrical release. Like, I think that they're going to do the November, what do you say, the 24th, 25th?
24th.
Yeah, 24th. And then they'll be like, hey, Merry Christmas. You can watch Encanto.
And our other trailer is the second look at The Harder They Fall, which I don't know if anyone has seen the first trailer, but this looks like just a badass Western. It is going to have I think a very limited theatrical run at the end of October, but it is going to be dropping on Netflix on November 3rd. So what a cast this movie has. Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Zazie Beetz, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Eddie Gathegi, Delroy Lindo, RJ Seiler, who we actually have the same agent. RJ is a delightful dude. Dion Cole. I mean, this is an enormous cast. And the basic story is Jonathan Majors is an outlaw and Idris Elba is an outlaw. Idris Elba killed his family and gets out of prison, and he's basically assembling his outlaw crew to go track him down. This, again, I cannot overstate the badassness of this trailer, and Regina King, on the heels of an incredible performance in Watchmen, getting to play another incredibly strong lady. I thought this looked awesome. Gentlemen, what did we think of the second look of The Harder They Fall?
Mikey, what'd you think?
All right, I'm super excited. This trailer looks amazing. I will start with my one caution, which is there have been a lot of Netflix trailers for Netflix movies that the trailers looked really amazing. And then I saw the movie and I was like, okay. So now there's a level of caution with every Netflix trailer where I'm like, oh, I got really excited, but okay. So we'll see. But I am really excited, and it is amazing how's the right way to say it? It is amazing how fresh and new a formulaic movie looks when you have an all-black cast in it. Like, there is nothing about what you pitched is something that we haven't seen in one form or another in some Western if you're a fan of a Western. Like, this outlaw is mad at this outlaw. I've got my team putting together this team. There's going to be a showdown in the town. There's going to be saloons. There's going to be brothels. We're probably going to have a high noon moment. It's all the things that we love about seeing a Western. But by putting an entirely black cast there of strong, both strong men and female actors, male and female actors, it really just makes it feel like we're seeing a whole new, fresh, and different thing that I'm super excited about. Like, I love Westerns in general, but this just had this different energy and vibe to it that I was really, really intrigued by, at least in the trailer. And like I said, it's a Netflix movie, so I was like, really intrigued. We'll see.
Stay in your lane, man. Animation. You leave the Westerns to me. You stay in your lane. I absolutely love the fact that you love
I had this voiceover job for you, but somehow I just gave it to somebody else.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't know.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to text my friend who's a voiceover actor. You just stay in your Western lane. Stay in your Western lane over there. I'm texting somebody right now.
I just got my Canadian citizenship. Okay, now I can finally be a voice. What are your fucking shows? Anyway, yeah, this looks great. Everything Michael said is absolutely correct. I mean, it's great to see it in a fresh new approach with all these black faces in here. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just casting there were black people in the West, ladies and gentlemen. There have been many stories of black people in the West, and they've just never had a chance to tell their story. So I'm not saying this is a true story, but certainly this is a fun, as Shannon pointed out, a fun, archetypal, cliche type of Western. You have a group of people getting together who are kind of questionable characters to go get some vengeance against this guy who's done this thing to one of their people. So, okay, great. That's awesome. And so you got to cast it correctly. Bringing in this who's who of black actors nowadays to be a part of this is fantastic. And I'll tell you this, another thing to add to Michael's point, the reason it's fresh is because finally studios are putting actual money. They're getting real people of good talent to come aboard behind the camera and in front of the camera to do these kinds of things in these black projects. In the past, the people have had to like fight for money and do it on low budget, and that's why you get stuff like Posse, which isn't that good, but could have been that good if they'd had the right people involved in it, the right amount of money to attract the right level of actors to be a part of it. Seeing it now, this approach, just the look of it is so clean, so fantastic, so perfect. I'm looking forward to it. But I also agree with Michael. I hope it's not a bad movie. Netflix does a fantastic job of getting you excited about stuff, but I hope it's not a bad movie, and we shall see. But from the trailer itself, I'm excited for it, and I want to see what we get, because there's nothing this outlaw loves than a film about outlaws set in the West and getting some revenge. I dig it.
And also, I mean, to your point,
yeah,
it is great to see so many black faces in this Western, but also, regardless of color or gender, the quality of actor in this movie is ridiculous. Like, from top, like you're also like, oh, God, okay, Idris Elba, amazing. Regina King, amazing. Jonathan Majors, amazing. Like, you just go down the list, you're like, you are all A+ actors.
Yep.
Like, there is not a bad one in the bunch. Like, it is like that. That's probably what makes me the most excited about this. I said, we'll see how I feel, but I'm hopeful that this is not one of the bad ones.
And
up and coming A-list actors as well. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I think based off the trailer, like there's definitely there's going to be some humor, there's going to be some comedy. The fact that you have Dion Cole in it, who is a hilarious performer. I think it's going to be awesome. The theatrically, it will be released limitedly on October 22nd, but then drops on Netflix November 3rd.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's move on to the next section here, and that is basically first reactions to these two films. I got to see them on the same day, which was a hell of a 180. The new James Bond film, No Time to Die, which is coming out on October 8th for everybody else. I think comes out tomorrow as we're recording this internationally, but it comes out on October 8th here in the States, and Venom, which comes out real soon as well. So I went to see this on Tuesday. So noon on Tuesday was James Bond, and then 3 hours after it was over was Venom. Couldn't have asked for two more distinctly different things. We're going to talk about the first reactions to them. I'm going to go through the Hollywood Reporter real quick, and I'm going to share the screen to show you guys the first reactions to No Time to Die. We'll go through some of these critics here. Josh Horowitz over there at MTV, also part of the Schmodown. Josh Horowitz is going to be performing live on October October 9th, I think, in Brooklyn, New York, against Griffin Newman, toe-to-toe going at it in trivia. No Time to Die is very good. I'm more relieved than anything else. I was worried going in. It's somehow the silliest and most serious Daniel Craig outing, mostly the former. Mike Ryan says No Time to Die is mostly nonsense, Roger Moore level absurd plot. But I love Roger Moore, was in the mood for a ridiculous plot. Craig is great, though. The ending tries to go for something poignant and heavy, and I wasn't into that part. Well, Mike Ryan, you're absolutely fucking wrong. I disagree with you. Yolanda Machado is here saying, give Ana de Armas every role ever. I wish she was in No Time to Die more, but my God, she was perfect, hilarious, and a badass. I love her. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is heavily felt, and that's a great thing. And Daniel Craig, wow. Bravo, 007. Bravo. Eric Owens says everyone's going to be talking about that No Time to Die ending, but it's the opening minutes which reminded me of Joe Wright's Hannah that stand out as its best and make it clear there is life beyond the franchise's most familiar beats. We get Tessa Smith here. Mama's Geek. She says No Time to Die is everything I wanted and more. A great farewell to Daniel Craig, but honestly, I wanted more Rami Malek. Yes, it's long, but whenever it felt like it was about to drag, I jumped right back in with adrenaline, action-packed from the start. Classic Bond. And one last one here, Jacqueline at that Jacqueline. She has the Rotten Tomatoes Wrong podcast with Mark Ellis and is a senior writer over there at Rotten Tomatoes. She said the absolutely perfect way to bid farewell to Daniel Craig's time is 007. No Time to Die throws back to every element that made his introduction in Casino Royale so iconic. A perfect blend of old and new. Buckle up, y'all. This is as good as Bond can get. So, gentlemen, what's your reaction to these first reactions here from all these noted critics?
Well, John, since you've seen the movie, with no spoilers,
I'm not.
What is your reaction to the reactions?
That's a great point you bring up. What is my reaction to the reactions? Well,
no spoilers.
No spoilers. No. I'm not going to drop any spoilers at all. But yeah, what can I tell you, man? You know what? I think my tweet says it best. Let me bring it up real quick for you. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, No Time to Die was absolutely worth the wait. A fantastic send-off featuring Daniel Craig's most confident, driven, and grounded performance, yet stunning action sequences, an old-school Bond villain, and a brilliant ensemble cast gives one life. James Bond fans, rejoice. That's my overall thoughts on the film. I thought it was I really enjoyed the hell out of this thing. I thought Daniel Craig did a fantastic job. I thought they gave him a lot of an emotional journey to go through, so that when that ending comes, it's a very earned ending. Yes, Ana de Armas is a great part of the movie. Lashana Lynch, who no one seems to be mentioning, is stellar in the film as well. And yes, the feeling of the female element is very powerfully felt throughout the movie. It doesn't in any way take away what Daniel Craig is doing. This is very much Daniel Craig's movie, but the women that are in the movie very much command their presence and their time on screen. So that's a good thing, including Naomi Harris as well.
I'm excited. All of the responses so far have me really excited. I think I said this before as we were kind of covering the Bond trailers for the movie, that I realized that I needed to go back and rewatch them. So actually, over the past couple of weeks, my brother and I went back and went Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. So I've watched all four. I feel like there's two really, really good ones, one mediocre one, and one horrible one. But I feel like I am now immersed in sort of the Daniel Craig-verse of the Bond movies, so I'm really excited to see where they wrap up. I'm excited about the Phoebe Waller-Bridge aspect of it. Everything that everyone's saying that they like about it are the things that I'm hoping it's going to be. So I am very much looking forward to it more now than I was before, after having gone back and rewatched all four movies, honestly. Even though there's some bad ones in there, like Quantum of Solace is just a horrible movie. I realize why I didn't remember anything about it, because there's nothing to remember. But I'm now that I kind of went back and went through them, I'm actually really, really excited for it, and the responses are making me more so.
Yeah, Shannon, thoughts?
Well, not really. Again, I've mentioned this before. Not really being a Bond guy. I'm ambivalent to it coming out. I'm of the actors who have played Bond, I think Daniel Craig is probably my favorite, because it is a little more modern. Look, the fact that it is 2 hours and 40 minutes, like, it's pretty
2
long.
2 hours and 43 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be a delightful afternoon at the movies. I don't know if I have the strength in me to go through and watch all four Bond movies, because I loved Casino Royale. I thought Casino Royale was great. Quantum of Solace, I'm with Vogel. I don't remember anything about it. I think Spectre I liked, and Skyfall I was a little like, oh, James Bond meets Home Alone.
Skyfall. Listen, James Bond meets Home Alone is the best thing in the world. That's the best part.
Okay, for you. I was not so much into that. But again, I mean, I can't explain it. Why Bond on paper, Bond should be my jam, and it just isn't. But I do like Daniel Craig, and I do really like Ana de Armas. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see those performances, and the little bits they've shown of Lashana Lynch in the trailers. She looks great.
Yeah. Very strong presence in the film for sure. All right. The other one is Venom. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I've been getting into multiple Twitter battles about this film. I'm one of the few odd people out in the world of the critic sphere who didn't 100% fall in love with this one. But let's share some of these reactions to people here. The brisk, if you say brisk, 90 minutes runtime of this one. Let's see. Let's run through some of these reactions. Molly Freeman says, Venom, Let There Be Carnage has some really entertaining and charming moments, particularly between Eddie and Venom, which is still a super fun dynamic, but the movie gets a bit lost in the carnage of it all. There's too many ideas, and the movie just barrels through the mess to the end. Yes, I agree with that. Jermaine Lucier says, when it comes to Venom, Let There Be Carnage, it's simple. Did you like the first one? You'll like this one. Not like the first one? That's how you'll feel here. It's the bigger, faster version of the first movie, which I enjoyed and instantly forgot about. Fun, frivolous. We already read Mike Ryan's thoughts on the other one. Matt Neglia, who I like and respect very much. Venom, Let There Be Carnage embraces the absurd buddy romance from the first film even more. Andy Serkis keeps the action and humor moving quickly, even if it doesn't always land or rarely lands, in my opinion. Tom Hardy's Gonzo performance is still a highlight, while Woody Harrelson relishes every sadistic moment. To Eric Davis over there at Fandango says, Tom Hardy is fantastic in Venom 2, a film that gladly and madly leans into the darkly hilarious tone, and then some. Definite natural-born killer vibes from our villains. What? But it's ultimately Hardy who steals every scene with a one-of-a-kind performance. That's so much fun to watch. And Dan Casey says, Venom, Let There Be Carnage is a wild-ass movie of the highest order. Ultra-violent rom-com that is delightfully self-aware and weird. Tom Hardy gives 200%. Whatever you do, don't miss the post-credits. That's absolutely true. And let's go to my thing. And see what I felt about the movie, which might get me into a little bit of trouble, but we're going to do it anyway. If I can share the screen here one more time. Jesus Christ. Why does it jump to our 3-shot? That's so weird when it does that. Here's what I said about the movie. It might get me in trouble, as I said here. Venom, Let There Be Carnage is not a good movie. Woody, Naomi Harris, and Michelle Williams are wasted in one-note roles, with Tom Hardy struggling to give Eddie/Venom any depth or complexity. The 90-minute cut sacrifices story beats, character progressions, and any real logic. But the special effects of Carnage are glorious and will delight any comic book fan. Eddie and Venom's friendship still works here, and I did laugh a few times at their banter. Also, that end credit scene is mind-blowing. If you like the first one, you'll probably like this one. There we go. That's my overall thoughts on this. Gentlemen, what do you think as you hear the thoughts of our of other colleagues of mine, other critics there in the world of critic food?
Here's what it makes me think. I think it is an interesting exercise in bias to hear these two responses. Like, it's interesting that when you hear something that you want to hear on the internet, you lean into it, and when you hear something you don't want to hear, you don't. Like, all of the reactions to the Bond movie got me excited. I was like, that is what I want it to be. I hope that that is true. Yay, it seems like people like it. That must mean it's good. And then you read all the Venom 2 ones, and I go, well, these people are clearly insane, because I know that this is going to be a garbage movie. Like, it's very funny. Like, as you were reading them, I was like, this is so, it would be disingenuous of me to say anything else, that this is just bias. Like, I do not like that first Venom movie. Mm-hmm. I think that there is a much better Venom movie out there, with or without Peter Parker / Spider-Man in it. There is a better take on Venom than what we got. And as someone who very much likes Venom from the comic books, and very much liked what we did with Venom when we did Spectacular Spider-Man, that movie ain't it. And so this movie, even though early on when it was like, well, Andy Serkis is going to do it, we'll see. The second we saw that trailer, I noped right out of it. I was like, it's not going to happen for me. And so even though all those, it's great, it's mad, they lean into the crazy, it's natural born killers vibes, I was like, fool me once, shame on you. Like, I was like, But that being said, Shannon and I are going to see it tomorrow afternoon, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, Shannon, since you're going tomorrow, what's your thoughts on this?
Look, if this movie is even mildly enjoyable, it will have been worth the afternoon, because watching that first Venom movie that was in a packed theater and watching the crowd, for the most part, really react to some of these bits that I thought were just terrible. I was like, well, look, I mean, clearly this movie is not made for me. And that's okay. I mean, the only good thing I can say going into this is like, hey, 90 minutes? Okay, well, it's 90 minutes long. What worries me about it, and John, I know you will not corroborate anything here, is that post-credit sequence, because people are talking about,
oh yeah, is
this where we get confirmation that Venom is in the MCU, or this is a connection to the MCU? And where I get worried is like, oh, the MCU is just for me is just so stellar. I don't want to see it get sullied by being connected to this movie that just is not going to be great.
Look,
that's what I get worried about.
Every family has those cousins that you don't want them to come to the reunion. You're like, we all get along great. We're barbecuing. We're making the hot dogs. The pickup truck pulls up and you're like, oh shit, they're here. They came. If that is what this section of the MCU is, it's like, oh, here come those Spider-Man villains. They're piling out of their car. Somebody hide the hot dogs. They're going to take them all. Like, you know.
Shitter's full, Clark. That's what it is in there. But yeah, I mean, look, I tweeted this out and I put it on Instagram. And I rarely put combative stuff on Instagram, but I felt like this was something I need to make a point about. I love being a part of the critic sphere. I love being part of the people, and I really respect and admire and read a lot of my fellow critics' reviews, because there are some incredible brains out there who break down movies. William Bibiani, Drew McWeeny, a lot of people that I really Mance, a lot of people that I really respect. So it frustrates me when they're so willing to gleefully bash the Transformers movies, turn them into a punchline. And the exact same shit that I used to describe the Transformers movies, they used to describe the Venom movies and laud the Venom movies. It's an incredible disconnect, or a slight hypocrisy, in my opinion, overall. You can like what you like. That's my point. Let me like the Transformers films. Stop turning them into the butt of a joke, when your Venom films are just as fucking terrible as you claim these Transformer films are. So to me, I just feel that there's a disconnect in there where everyone's like, oh, it's very self-aware. Bumblebee is peeing oil on John Turturro. That is self-aware. What the fuck? So to me, it just doesn't make sense how they think somehow Michael Bay took the Transformers film seriously. It's ridiculous. They're talking cars.
I don't know that's what self-aware means.
Well, that's what they're trying to claim.
Peeing on Turturro is a self-aware moment. I do think, to your point, I don't think it's hypocrisy. I think this is what's cool about geek culture, and this is what's cool about us doing this show. Like, look, there are people listening to this right now that I said Venom was a garbage movie, and y'all are like, Vogel, fuck you, I love Venom, and like, that is fine. Like, I love it. Like, there are people that every time I talk about my love for Last Jedi, y'all are gonna come for me. I love it. Like, I think what is great is that we all like the things we like, and part of geek culture is loving something so much that even when you get a version of it that might not be everything you want, you're happy that you saw it.
Yeah.
And we all have different things that we like and different things that we respond to. And I think that that's great. Like, I'm actually happy for the people that love the Venom movies. I think, to Shannon's point,
me too.
I don't really, it doesn't bother me that people like a movie that I don't like. I think in the era that we live in, and kind of to Shannon's point about this post-credit sequence, it's where things that I think could be better make so much money that I feel like Hollywood then goes, well, we don't have to try and improve it or make it stronger. But that's just my own personal feeling, is like someone who works in the field. Like, I'm always like, well, how can we do better than what we did? And I think that when something makes, millions and millions and millions of dollars, they're like, all right, well, just keep doing that. And for me, this particular take on Venom and Eddie Brock is, like I said, it's the Cookie Monster version that I don't love.
Yeah. They get away with saying, oh, it's, it doesn't always land. Yeah, that means it doesn't land. It's silly. And yeah, so are the Transformers movies. They're silly. All right.
I don't like the Venom movie, and I don't like the Transformers movies except for the first one. So I feel like I don't have a dog in this fight.
I can respect the consistency of that. But for 5 years, when I've been hearing with every criticism, yeah, but you like the Transformers movies, every time I make a criticism on it. Someone always throws that in as a comment. I go, can I now do this with other people who like the Venom movies? Yeah, but you really like the Venom movies, so I can't really trust your opinion on shit. All right. Anyway, just getting my vibe out there, or my grinding my axe.
Oh no, that's your vibe. That's your vibe.
Fair enough. All right, let's take a quick break, and we're going to jump into a little bit of a fun stuff, a fun topic to talk about here as we end the show. And we'll be right back right after this.
Dun 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 dun. Ba 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 ba.
Yeah, there it is. How come we didn't do that in the trailers? The 3-minute Rocky IV trailer is out there, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this tweet that Michael Vogel found. Really funny tweet. I'm going to bring it, share it here on screen for everyone to read who is watching us, and then we'll read it ourselves here and as we go through it. This is from Adrian F. Okadrian. Hope I'm saying that right. Black Widow would give Wolverine that work. Word. Hawkeye gonna wet up Xavier. I don't know what this means with the kids. But basically, it's just showing the Avengers versus the X-Men. This discussion about the Avengers. Wanda is way stronger than Jean. I doubt Storm will be able to handle Thor. Quicksilver would take out Magneto. Hawkeye arrow directed to the Professor. Black Widow would give Wolverine that work. Cap would take Cyclops' head off. Tony and Hulk taking out the rest. And there have been some funny comments. So, Michael, tell us why this tweet appealed to you, and why we're discussing.
So, first of all, not any big news to cover this week in the geek realm. We got What If. Check out our spoiler review. We're excited about things coming. But this tweet popped up. My brother sent me this tweet because he was like, "You got to read these comments." And I started reading the comments. And one of my favorite things is when people on Twitter passionately argue stuff that is completely made up and get really, really, really funny about it. And this person came out talking, and look, I love the MCU. Anybody who listens to the show knows I love me some MCU. I love the Avengers. But saying that the Avengers would be able to take out the X-Men is such a bonkers statement. I don't know how my fellow geek buddies feel. I hope they feel differently because I'd like to duke it out. But yeah, so some of these responses are absolutely gold because you're like, you have got to be crazy.
Yeah. Shannon, what do you think about this proposal? The Avengers versus the X-Men, and do you have a comment or two on this thread that stood out to you?
Okay, well, first, I think we need to frame the arguments a little clearer.
Okay,
Which
please.
Avengers team are we talking about? Are we talking Avengers 1? Are we talking Avengers 2? Which X-Men team are we talking about? I think we got to narrow it down.
Okay, that's fair. I think you can pick your ultimate Avengers team and your ultimate X-Men from the movies. I think that like anyone is on the table. Okay. And I would still say, with anybody on the table, the X-Men are going to win.
I think you're probably right. Okay. But the X factor of Hulk and Thor and Wanda make that victory far from assured. That, like, I think you get... Well, I mean, and I'm not going to add Captain Marvel because she came much later. I'm trying
She's
to
an
think
Avenger.
Of like,
but he said Ultimate Avengers team. Does that mean everybody?
Sure, but she's going to be late and she won't show up to the last minute because that's what she does.
That's what she does. She's fashionably late.
I think if you take the team from X-Men 1 versus the team from Avengers 1, I think that's a pretty big fight because Jean does not have her Phoenix abilities. I mean, she is telekinetic with a little bit of telekinesis. Right. I think Storm loses it to Thor. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. You add Professor X into it. I mean, Professor X can literally freeze time. I mean, he can. That's kind of yeah. I think the X-Men have it because of Professor X, but again, Avengers 1, the fact that you have Hulk, Iron Man, and Thor on the same team, I think it's an all day long fight.
Now that you've heard from my two less learned colleagues, let me tell you why the Avengers are going to decimate the fucking X-Men. Apparently, some dude in a wheelchair who's bald apparently trumps everything. Eric wears a metal helmet and can get away with stopping that fool from reading his mind. You don't think Tony Stark's going to come up with a helmet that all the Avengers can wear before they go into battle that immediately nullifies Professor X and Jean Grey immediately in the situation? So what you're dealing with is Laser Eyes and Wolverine. And we've seen Hulk demolish Wolverine in the comics and back and forth. Those two have fought to a bit of a draw. So that's pretty much a washout. Rogue, you just got to cut her hands off and she can't, and then the game is over. She's not gonna be able to touch you and absorb your power. Storm is an issue, but I think the God of Thunder versus the God versus Storm would be a hell of a battle. But I give the advantage to the guy with the hammer. He's got a fucking hammer. He is the god of lightning, okay? So I think that's...
he is the god of thunder, actually.
Well, whatever. Either way, some lightning bolts are hitting your ass. Either way, that's what he can do there. And then you've got Captain America. I think Captain America absolutely can outsmart little Bobby Drake or whatever his damn name is, the Iceman. He can absolutely outsmart that kid just like he did Spider-Man. These are the differences here, which you've got. Oh, and I haven't even gotten into Hawkeye or Black Widow, and I've already beaten this team. And if you give me Scarlet Witch, say goodnight. Scarlet Witch would absolutely separate Jean Grey from her limbs and what's left of Professor X after they're done with it. So to me, if this is the team you're presenting, I can whip this team no problem with the Avengers from Age of Ultron. Absolutely demolish this X-Men team. You're both insane.
Well, first of all, if we're doing Avengers from Age of Ultron, then we're doing X2, yeah?
Sure.
So first of all, Mystique is going to go in 2 seconds confuse all of the Avengers to no end because she's going to fuck up all their communication with a team that already doesn't get along on their best day. Second of all, Magneto is going to come in and can crush Tony Stark like a can of empty Diet Coke.
Are you bringing in the villains to be part of this? The mutants?
Because they were on the same team at the end of the
Same team in X-Men too, baby.
All right,
same team.
Well, then I'm bringing in Infinity War or Endgame. All the Avengers that showed up. Doctor Strange. I'm bringing in Doctor Strange.
You bring in Doctor Strange. First of all, Professor X will take out Doctor Strange. Professor X, you can say whatever you want about Professor X. He is a trump card. Professor X, if he comes in first...
Wear a helmet. His powers are done.
It's not any helmet. It's only Magneto's helmet. Somebody wearing a construction helmet can't not be hurt by Professor
Nobody said
X.
construction helmet.
Tony Stark's gonna pass out construction helmets to the Avengers, and he's
Nobody's passing
out of here.
Hey, that bald guy's trying to shut down my brain again.
He's got 7.5 fucking Iron Men. He can build a helmet similar to Eric's helmet, no problem. He's way smarter than Eric.
Look, I don't know. Well, yeah, okay. The helmet thing has always been a little hinky to me, so I'll give you the helmet thing. It's been a little hinky. Man. It's been a little hinky, but I think that, like, first of all, Magneto and Professor X are Omega level mutants, and Jean Grey is an Omega level mutant. Bobby Drake, if we're going by comic power, is an Omega level mutant, but if we're sticking to movies, I'll give you that he probably can't do as much as he could. But Storm versus Thor, I think is more of a fight than you're giving them credit for. At the very least, if you're going comic book Storm, I think she beats Thor's ass. But if we're going with movie Storm, at the very least, she makes his lightning ineffectual. She can redirect that lightning at the very least. So you've just got a really strong guy who can fly around with a hammer that's made of metal. So I'm assuming that Magneto can do some damage on that thing.
He's not worthy. He's not worthy, so he wouldn't be able to.
He doesn't have to pick it up. He just has to redirect it and keep it from hitting anybody, and he can do that with metal.
Maybe.
He's not picking it up.
It's otherworldly metal. I don't know what he can do with metal from other places. I don't know what he can do.
Well, I don't know what Tony Stark can do when he builds a helmet. I don't know Tony Stark's helmet technology.
Construction helmets. What's wrong with you?
And I think in a Jean Grey versus Wanda battle, once you get to like Phoenix level powers, I think I gotta go Jean Grey, particularly if Professor X gets in there fast enough, he can shut Wanda down.
Wanda can get in Professor X's mind.
For sure. Like, look, when it comes to Wanda versus either Jean or Professor X, it really is a matter of who gets there first. Like my money would be on sending in, if I were strategizing this, I would send in Nightcrawler and Mystique right away to just put everybody off their game, and then have Professor X and Jean Grey just go after Wanda immediately and send Wolverine after the Hulk. That's
Go ahead. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. And then
Are you talking Rebecca Romaine Mystique, or are you talking Jennifer Lawrence Mystique?
I'm talking Rebecca Romaine Mystique.
That Mystique was useless. Let's put that on the table. Jennifer Lawrence Mystique was
First
good.
of all, how dare you, sir? First of all, how dare you?
May we throw an X factor into this?
Hey,
equation?
who's that?
Throw in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
What?
Hey, man. Superman, Flash,
This is a good battle.
Cyborg, Wonder
You can
Woman.
throw him in. You can throw him in and throw him right back out again. Nobody wants him.
Superman turns the tide all over the place, I think. And
I think
Batman would figure out how to fuck up Professor X for sure.
I think Batman versus Iron Man, Batman gonna win.
What?
That's
really? No.
Oh yeah, one.
Batman versus Iron Man?
I would put my money
100%.
I would put my money on Batman against any hero unless it's Ben Affleck's Batman, and then I think no. Sorry,
but I think the thing you brought up, Michael, though, the X factor of Professor X, that is possible. Like if Scarlet Witch gets into Professor X's head, the other X-Men do not have helmets on, so he's going to be able to control them and make them do terrible things, like was alluded to in Logan that he possibly did, which is connected to Old Man Logan, the story in the comics. So that's a possible. So if Scarlet Witch, who clearly has the potential to go evil or go dark, as we saw at the end, as we saw in WandaVision, she has that power, that ability. That could be an interesting situation. Plus, you've got this love triangle that you can unsettle them with Logan and fucking Scott Summers and Jean Grey. That could be something as well. I mean, if Jean sneaks a look at Thor's pecs, Scott's going to be useless in this battle.
To be fair, they're no longer in a love triangle in the comics. They're in a throuple, which is way more sex positive and healthy for everybody. So we should just be rolling with the times.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
But you're talking comics. You're not talking movies.
I know, but it's just like if we're going to talk about the love triangle, I think it's worth mentioning that in the comics now they're basically in a throuple, which is way cooler.
I got no judgment on that. That's fair. We're in a throuple here. Go ahead, yeah.
I do think, to your Justice League battle, if we're going to talk about it, Doctor Strange takes Superman off the table without him even having to do anything. Like
that's a great point.
Like Superman is one of his weaknesses is magic. So Doctor Strange can get rid of Superman. As powerful as Henry Cavill's Superman is, Doctor Strange can do a little wave of the hand and he's out of there.
Right.
Sure. But then you're taking the Avengers from Endgame.
Well, John took the Avengers from Endgame. I'm
Well,
just doing what John did.
You're talking 23 movies in versus the one Justice League movie we got.
Right.
So I think if you get 23,
that's DC's fault, not mine.
Hey man, I'm saying if you take Avengers 1 versus X1 versus JL1, Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think that Justice League team wipes the floor with both the X-Men and the Avengers.
I mean, Wonder Woman is an X factor here as well, right? She's not even human, she's like a whole other species. She's Amazon.
As much as it pains me to admit it, but yes, if you're going to go based on power levels alone, where the mutants were in X-Men 1, where the Avengers were in Avengers 1, where the Justice League was in Zack Snyder's opus, then yes, there's no way that the other two teams could beat them. But I think that is not accurate to reality, or the reality of the non-reality that we live in the comic book universe.
Let's
those.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, those like Facebook quizzes that come up, like, hey, you have $15 to make your team. So if you had to pick five, if you had to pick five Avengers, 5 X-Men, 5 Justice League members, who you pick?
Oh wait, so wait, you're saying like for our ultimate team
battle.
up. All right, so why don't we do this? Who wants which? Let's do it like we'll each do our.
I'll
three,
take Avengers.
I'll take X-Men.
Then I got DC.
Yeah.
All right.
That makes this
and we're doing movies here, right?
Movies only.
Okay.
Anybody in the movies, any series of movies.
Yeah. My options are extremely limited.
Yeah, they are. Michael Keaton Batman, Christian Bale Batman, Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh my God! if you come at us with just a team of 5 Batmans, you've already won. that is actually, if you do like, I'm like, I got Jean Grey, Professor X, Magneto. You're like, I have 5 Batmans. Like, well, fuck me, I'm out.
Adam West.
I think
Diedrich
5
Bader
Batmans
from The Brave and the Bold.
I think 5 Batmans would lose because each one would want to be the alpha dog and be the one in charge. They would absolutely implode upon each other. There's no way any Batman is sharing credit with any other Batman. No
They're all just gonna
fucking
sit there and stare at us, and we're gonna be like, "What are they doing?" They're like, "Gonna rattle his cage."
Where are the stones? Where are the stones? Yeah, I mean, let's see. I gotta go Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Thor, more than Hulk. Just, unless I'm getting Professor Hulk, then maybe. You know what? Professor Hulk over Thor. I'll take Professor Hulk over Thor. Did I already say Captain? Oh, Black Panther. And let me think on the 5th one. Iron Man. There you go. Done.
All
No,
right,
I take
Shannon.
Thor over Hulk. I take Thor over Hulk. I don't need Professor Hulk
So
if I
wait,
got.
so say it again. You've got
Captain
Wanda,
Marvel,
Captain
Wanda,
Marvel.
Iron Man, Thor, and Black Panther. That's my 5.
No Vision. No Vision.
Oh, Vision. Fuck me, Vision. Yeah, I guess I'd have to put Vision in there. I'll take. Who do I take out? Fuck, that is tough. I guess I'll take Thor out. Because, I mean, Vision can do everything Thor can do and wield the hammer, as we saw. So, there we go. Vision can be just as strong as Thor.
All right.
Plus, he'd see right through Mystique in a heartbeat.
So I'm going to go Christopher Reeve, Superman. Michael Keaton, Batman.
You're finished already. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
He turned back time.
Illegally.
Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Ray Fisher, Cyborg.
Okay.
Did I say I said Michael Keaton, Batman, right?
Yes,
Christopher
you did,
Reeve, Michael Keaton, Ray Fisher, Ezra, Flash,
That's your 5?
and Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. So I've got Batman, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg.
This motherfucker left off Aquaman.
Look, I know
75% of the Earth is oceans, and you left off the one guy that can command everything in the ocean. Surprising.
Do I think this fight is going to the water?
You bring the water to the fight. That's what I think. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Mikey, what do you got?
Aquaman's always like, "Hey guys, don't you want to fight over here on the beach? It'll be more fun."
Over here, man. Over here, buddy. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Professor X, Magneto, Mystique, Wolverine, and Kitty Pryde.
Oh, you're just playing. You're playing. Who are you playing to with Kitty Pryde?
Kitty Pryde, if she touches you, you are along with her. You can face through anything. So as long as Kitty Pryde is holding on to everybody or has your back, you can have Superman, you can have Hulk, you can have whoever you want. They can't touch us. Boom.
Good point. Unless Vision splits her in half with the Mind Stone. That's possible, too.
The Mind Stone gonna go right through us if I got a Kitty Pryde. But yeah, so I think you got the world's best telepath. Oh wait, shit, I forgot Jean Grey. Shit,
Uh-oh.
wait, hold on, wait.
Yeah, take Jubilee out of there, or whoever it is.
I'm gonna
Kitty
take
Pryde.
Jubilee. Get out of here. All right. All right, I think I'll lose Mystique, although I feel like that's a mistake. But I'm gonna keep Kitty Pryde because I think that's the thing that keeps me safe. I'm gonna go Jean Grey, Professor X, Magneto, Jean Grey, Professor X, Magneto, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde.
Why Wolverine? That's fascinating to me.
Logan has a healing factor, and he's a fucking brawler. Logan's gonna take
brawler.
everybody down. He's
He's
brawler.
the spirit of the team, that's for sure. He's going to do what needs to be done.
Logan's not gonna give up. He's gonna keep on going.
It's fair. It's fair.
Superman is going to throw him into space. Where he can keep healing and dying over and over again.
Heal from that. Ah!
Oh man.
In the event that this goes sideways, Flash and Superman will turn back time separately.
Oh, those sons of bitches. Leave it alone. Leave it alone, man. Let's read some of these responses because that's good. This guy Joe, or a woman, I don't know who it is. X-Men win, but it's close. If you think about matchups, Cap and Iron Man can deal with Cyclops. If Thor is fighting Storm, Thor wins. After that, it gets tricky. Hulk and Logan can go either way. Same with Jean and Wanda. But I think if we're talking WandaVision, Wanda, she wins. Emoji of a lemon at Crow_boy says none of them have particularly strong psychic defenses. X could easily mind control them into submission. Maybe Wanda, but she's more magic than psychic, which doesn't really mean she's immune. Assuming this is movie versions only. Matt Calder says Wanda is stronger than Jean. Storm wouldn't be able to. No, I'm out. I don't know what that means, but all right. And Mike Miss Mastermind at Sarah Query counters, and she says, LOL, Storm, the one who controls weather, wouldn't be able to handle a god of thunder. Oh, wait. And then she puts a picture of Wanda holding Thor's hammer. Bada boom. So there you go.
I do just want to be really clear on the fact that if we are going into like comics levels,
yeah,
the X-Men are going to destroy the Avengers every single time across the board, just so we're clear.
Okay. And they fought before in the comics. That was a big deal in the comics a few times. Blurds and Whiskey podcast at Blurds and Whiskey says, as much as I want to say X-Men will dog walk the Avengers, this is why the Avengers will win. If you know, you know. And it's a picture of a woman, I don't know who that is, saying no more mutants. Is that Wanda? Is that maybe Wanda from House of M?
Yes.
Saying that? Okay. All right. There you go.
I mean, I will say, like, so it actually is interesting if you think about it. Like, one of the reasons I think we're excited about Marvel MCU finally getting the X-Men is that if you look at this whole argument, Fox has had X-Men for years, and they have never managed to get Jean Grey to where we wanted her to be, to truly be the Phoenix, to be Dark Phoenix. Whereas Wanda, the MCU has gotten her to be as powerful as she is in the comic books, almost. Like the Wanda in the movies and in WandaVision, you're basically like, look, there's no stopping her. Like, she is too powerful. And that's where Jean Grey is in the comics, but the movies never quite got Jean Grey there.
Right. I like this point here. Logan, the JL reign of Darkseid is out. Diamond Spider says, this dude clearly doesn't know how Xavier and Wolverine work, which is kind of sad since those two are like the main folks of the X-Men movies. Also, Magneto would fight Iron Man, not Quicksilver. He would immediately be drawn to the guy in the metal suit. Grumpy Ghost says, dude, Zelda Williams brought up the iron in their blood. I never even considered it. Other than maybe Black Panther, if they have iron in their blood, Magneto coupled with Phoenix Jean would really shake things up. Look at how troublesome Thanos was, and he was indirectly hitting them. So interesting points there. The iron in their blood, never even thought about that being something Magneto could use. So there you go.
X2.
Right. All right.
That's the best. That part of that movie is fucking killer. Oh, it's so good.
I think we've had a very healthy debate about who might win in these situations. What's great is that we've gotten to see all these groups on screen now in the world, and we'll be getting a new version of the X-Men down the road for sure. And who knows what the Avengers are going to morph into as we go into Phase 4 as well. Only Kevin Feige and the people around him know. But it's exciting to think about for sure. We may have to revisit this discussion down the road, Mike and Shannon, as more Avengers get introduced and added to this new crew that's rolling through in Phase 4. So
I'll probably win that one too.
Oh, wait, what? Who said you won this one? This guy. Anyway, all right. Let's get out of here. That wraps it up for this episode of the Geek Buddies. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for listening or watching us. Shannon, what do we have to tell them?
Yeah, I'd like to follow us on social media. On Twitter, it's at Geek_Buddies. On Instagram, at _Geek_Buddies. If you'd like to follow me on social media, on Twitter, it's at Shannon_McClung. On Instagram, it's Shannon the Geek Buddy. If you would like to follow Mr. Vogel, it is at MKToon. If you would like to follow Mr. Rocha, it is at The Rocha Says.
Mikey?
If you think that the X-Men can beat the Avengers, or if you're wrong, we're happy to have you here. And we love having these discussions, and we love you guys being a part of them. So here's what you can do to help us keep on bringing you the Week of Geek. You can subscribe to Johnny's Outlaw Nation page over there. You can hit the like button below. You could definitely leave us some comments. Who do you think would win in your X1 versus Avengers versus Justice League debates? Where do you think this would land? What do you think of the other news stories of the week? What movies are you excited about? What are your thoughts on Venom? Let us know. And if you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere where podcasts are available, leave us some stars, leave us some comments. It helps us go up in the rankings. And as always, please retweet this video, post it on your socials, tell everybody to check out the Geek Buddies, and bring more buddies to the table. We would appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, you all are awesome. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to you next week with another brand new episode here from the
Geek
Buddies!